Can you share how your amputation journey shaped your sense of identity and purpose?
So my journey,
Mhm.
especially my from cancer to amputation journey, has shaped my experience because I think I realized a lot of things about myself during that time. We all have our weaknesses or things, or we're very critical of ourselves. So we don't like this about ourselves. We don't like that. Oh no, I can't do that. I can never do this. And my journey showed me everything is possible. And a lot of times we underestimate ourselves, right? And it's because it's not only just the fear to try it, but more of just being disappointed that I tried it and it didn't work, or I tried it and it didn't come out like how I think it should come out. I think for me, what happens now is you have to try it. Like, I'm okay with the nose, I'm okay with things not going the way I feel it should go. Um, I when I get disappointed, I get sad, I get mad, I get frustrated, but something comes along the line to tell me, why don't you just try it a different way? Why well did you ask this? Well, did I work on that? Well, how can I just continue to move forward, and what tools do I have? So all of that uncomfortable, unfamiliar. That is my life as an amputee and as a disabled person. Everything is up in the air. Is the weather going to be good? Do they have stairs? How do I push through this pain to still show up? How can I still advocate for this if I don't have any money to get on the bus or gas to put in a car to go somewhere? Like, does it really make sense? All of those questions for me now is like, yes, you have to find your way to show up. You have to ensure that your voice is heard. You have to ensure that you remain authentic. And if not today, be with okay with it not being today. Take the time to do what you need, not what someone think you do need, or what you they think that you should have. No, assess your own ability or your desire or your wants and say, is this something I really want? Because when it's something you really want to do, no amount of no's, no amount of not having this or that is going to stop you, because you're going to keep showing up. So that's my journey. I'm proud to be an amputee. I've always been an athlete, and I don't know if it comes from the athletic mind. I've also always been a civic minded person. So helping others and finding out what person's needs are, teaching how we can do things differently. That has always just been the essence of me from I was very young. And so when I was diagnosed with cancer and then I got the amputation, I didn't really see it as, oh no, why me? I just found ways to just keep going. And then when I can't go, I became okay with saying, mm-mm, I can't do that today. I'm just going to need a moment. Give me a moment to, really figure out what I want to do, and then I will show up. And so, yeah.
And did you join a supporting group to keep motivating yourself to achieve your desires?
No, in the Bahamas, we don't have a lot of the representation of amputees or even disabled persons that is so visible. You may have a neighbor or a family member, maybe, who, because of diabetes, lost a leg or a foot, or became blind, or high blood pressure, having a stroke, or comorbidities, which has impacted them in different ways, right? But to rightfully see someone that you could like message and say, hey, hi, I was just diagnosed with this, or I had an accident, or I have a child or a neighbor who's trying to do this, it's not readily available. And so for me, I looked for it. I looked for it when I became an amputee over 20 years ago, and I didn't find it. But I found a community through the digital space. I went online and I started
Mm-hmm.
Googling. I started Googling to see disabled women, disabled professionals, athletes, para athletes. And I just started to find my community and I reached out to them. And I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm across the world. They don't know me, but I
Mm-hmm.
took a chance. I used social media and I sent emails and I found um, not websites, pages, and I
Mm-hmm.
introduced myself. Hi, I'm Erin. I'm from the Bahamas. I love to play sports. I want to get back into it, or I would like to start this business. As an amputee, how did you do it? I literally found and created a community that was outside of my geographical location.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nothing home, but I made a conscious decision at that time that I was going to be that person for my community. So I took the intentional steps that let me be accessible, let me be visible, let me tell my story, let me encourage other persons to do it, let me show up and show them it can be done so that when they're ready, they can reach out on social
Mm-hmm.
media, send an email, WhatsApp, and it's somebody
Right.
who looks and sound like them that is going to respond. And so now we have a little bit more of the support groups popping up and youth groups. And I'm so excited because most recently we were able to nominate two disabled youth, a male and a female, to attend a Commonwealth Disabled People Forum training in Barbados, and they were selected. They have never traveled outside of the Bahamas because of their disability, and now they got a chance to. So it's those moments that I'm hoping that they hold on to and they create those support groups and systems for their people, their peers, their colleagues, their neighborhoods, their communities.
That is an outstanding answer. And also, you plan to become a disability rights attorney. What change do you want most to influence through the legal system?
I want us to take the time. We have a lot of laws that are antiquated, which means they were set in 1900 long, and things have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Technology has changed. Even the way that our language, the way our culture, our traditions, things have literally changed, and the old laws are impacting us more negatively than it is advancing us. And so for me, my priority as a disability attorney, my goal is to focus on law and policy. So the inclusive reform of legislation and focusing on language, because language is so important when it comes to the legal system, but it also is important when we're speaking about belonging. When we're speaking about policies and practices, we need to be very clear on who we're speaking to and why we're speaking to them. And inclusive communication and language ensures everyone, everyone, the littlest of them, the oldest of them, the affluent, as well as the marginalized. They have access, inclusion, and opportunities. And so I'm not interested in like going into the courts and fighting criminal and civil matters at this time. That's not my priority, because I know we need to change the law so that when you do go in front of a judge, you have an inclusive law you can use to support and validate what are the needs and why we need the change.
And do you want to make that change at the national or international level?
Well, at first I want to make it nationally. I love to be a part of the global and international conversation because I'm a part of over 1 billion people in the world that live with a disability. And to know that you're a part of a community that is so even beyond you and amazing people who are doing different things, it gives you a different perspective. And then to actually leave and meet persons, or even coming on a Zoom like this and having this type of conversation, when we leave it, you start to think differently that, hey, I'm not in this by myself. I'm not the only one advocating. And so nationally would be the first impact that would have to happen for us, because we're about 400,000 in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Mhm.
And then regional, as we are closest to our CARICOM countries, making sure we align with what they're doing, because we were able to have our Persons with Disabilities Equal Opportunity Act in 2014. But we have some of our CARICOM nations who have no act at all. And so aligning together and helping them to establish one, enact one, and then after doing that, building on it, but we're doing it together, right? A lot
Mhm.
of our cultures, a lot of our languages are the same, of our nations, because we are so closely knitted. There are family intersectionalities. And so it allows us to have a true and honest conversation to fit the cultural narrative, but also to give each other legal cases, best practices that we can use to build an inclusive nation. And that's the goal. And so with regional, it spreads. It spreads because when you have your visitors, your investors, you have persons who come in for educational purposes, health purposes, they get to experience what we're doing here. And so then that's the exchange of knowledge. We can then have exchange of knowledge on why we do this way, and or why it works, and why the impact was so quick. The benefits or the return on investment was felt so deeply because of the different type of cultural spaces and numbers. And so having that conversation will then impact the international space.
Wow, I'm truly amazed of these outstanding answers. And also, you have said that word suffer holds no weight for you. Could you tell us more about what you mean by that and how that perspective has influenced your advocacy?
Yes. So, and remember, language is important. So
Yeah.
if I am to introduce myself as, hi, my name is Erin. I am a short blonde haired Black female wearing blue tinted glasses. My pronouns are she and her. And I suffer from um, the above the knee amputation due to osteosarcoma. What does that really say? I'm not suffering. I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which resulted in an amputation, which now I acquired a disability. I acquired a disability. So now I self identify as a limb difference individual, also known as an above the knee amputee. So for me saying I suffer versus I self identify, there's a different feel of it. There's a different energy that comes with it, because that was part of my journey. It was part of my journey to be diagnosed, to acquire a disability, and to continue to grow, to continue to adapt. And so the word suffer for me does not apply in my own lens, because it's not something that I hold on to. Life is designed for you to go through different phases, trials, tribulations. It's designed that way because that's how we learn and that's how we grow. So it's not going to be picture perfect. It's not going to be something that it goes well all the time. And so,
Mhm.
yes, you may have moments of suffering, which, in my opinion, is more external. So, we had a hurricane and we're now suffering from crop devastation.
Mhm.
That's something external to us because it was impacted, and now we have to take time to rebuild this crops and the area to make it more fertile. So yes, we're suffering through that, but we're not going to stay there. It has to pass. So for me, that's why it doesn't hold any weight. Because in my opinion, everything is purposeful. I understand that in order for me to grow, I have to go through uncomfortable things. Things are going to go wrong. Things are designed to push me. And one of the examples I always give as an athlete, when you first start working out, even if you just say, I just want to lose a little bit of pounds, or I want to build some muscle, or I just want to be more active for my well being. When you start and you're all, whoa, let's do this. This is going to be amazing. And you're working out and it's day 3 and you're feeling good. Then you wake up on day 4 and your muscles are screaming
Mhm.
and you can't, it's sore. And you're like, what was I thinking? You have to make a decision right then and there if I'm going to keep showing up on day 5, day 6, day 7. Because the more you show up, your muscles are going to adjust. They're still going to be sore, but not as sore. You understand the purpose. The sorer it is, that means I've worked my muscle to a certain level and now they're growing, they're expanding. And so I need to now continue to help them grow, get strong, and move forward. And so that is what life is designed to do. If you're cruising through life and it's just so happy-go-lucky 24/7, what you tend to say, I'm so bored. There's nothing to do. Why is everything the same?
Mhm.
We tend to do that. So we need those challenges. We need those goals that is not the destination type. It's the journey to get to this point to then say, oh, look at that over there. Then get to that point and then get to that point. So no, I am not suffering. I live with a disability. I am a person with a disability, a disabled woman. I use first person identity, first person language, and identity first language when I'm speaking to myself or I'm speaking about myself or my community. I am also a strong speaker, a mother, a business owner. I am all of that through the lens of disability. And
Mhm.
so that's why suffer doesn't hold any weight.
Finally, when young people see you speaking at events, what is the one message you hope stays with them?
Ooh, my one message would be
Mhm.
you are the gift, just the way you are. You are designed to bring spice and flavor and creativity to the world, not to blend in, not to be who someone else wishes you to be. You are to define and impact and change an environment, be a disruptor, just the way you are. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Is it worth it?
Mhm.
Absolutely, it is, because your voice is needed. But if you do not show up, if you do not speak up, if
Mhm.
you do not learn what are your likes, what are your dislikes, what are the things that you love to do, what are you passionate about, what are you great with, if you don't take the time to learn that, you will not find your voice. You will not find your purpose. And therefore, when those no's and those, why do you do that like that? Why do you dress? Why do you sound like that come up? You're still going to be saying to yourself, yeah, why do I do that? Instead of, this is who I am. I have a voice, I have a purpose, and I am intentionally going to be authentic no matter where I show up. So that one message, if I had to put it all together, would be the thermostat, not someone who is looking to see what the temperature is, not someone who is waiting for somebody to give access or tell you how to be accepted. Be that person that sets that tone, that sets that temperature in that room, that wakens it up, that brings it together. Be that person. Find your way to do it.